During my pregnancy, I worked overtime at the company until 10 o'clock. It was raining heavily outside, and my Phoenix man husband Chi-ji was reluctant to pick me up because he felt sorry for the gas money. On the other end of the phone, he sounded impatient. "Hair, so you're not going to call your rich second-generation boy childhood friend now? Aren't there night buses? How much gas would it cost me to go back and forth?" But he turned around and went to pick up his female boss Jiang Yu, who was playing in the bar, and even brought some sobering soup. In the past, I would silently understand that Chi-ji came from a difficult family and was very ambitious, and I would never complain about him no matter how wronged he was. But this time, I just said, "Let's get a divorce. You can pick up whoever you want from now on. Also, the car was my dowry before marriage. It has nothing to do with you from now on." Then he hung up the phone decisively. The company locked the door at a certain time. I squatted down against the wall in the cold wind, holding my aching stomach, and it was raining heavily in my heart. The disappointment I felt again and again told me that Chi-ji had actually been rotten for a long time. Now, I'm going to throw all his cheap love into the trash can. Just as I was curled up and trying to move to the security booth to avoid the rain, a beam of car lights illuminated my back. "Xiao Xiao, why are you squatting here in the rain?" My childhood friend Lu Chuan got out of the car anxiously and rushed over to help me into the car. He originally wanted to pick me up horizontally, but suddenly felt that it was not right, so he put me down, holding the umbrella with one hand and supporting me with the other. "You posted a message about working overtime half an hour ago. I see it's been raining for an hour now. I was worried, so I came to check on you." "What's wrong with that bastard Chi-ji? He let you, a pregnant woman, stand on the road in the wind and rain late at night. Are you feeling unwell?" Because I didn't eat dinner and had a stomachache and caught a cold, I only saw Lu Chuan's mouth opening and closing, and then his eyes went dark and he lost consciousness. When I woke up again, I was already in the hospital. Chi-ji held my hand and sat beside the bed, a rare look of concern and guilt on his face. "I'm sorry. If you had told me earlier that you were not feeling well, I wouldn't have let you take the bus. You still insisted on saying something angry about divorce. This must be the baby's protest. Fortunately, the doctor also said that there is no big problem." I pulled my hand away in disgust. "Hair, Jiang Yu hasn't woken up yet. Why don't you go take care of her?" Chi-ji frowned. "She can't drive after drinking. What if something happens? Haha, they are just business relations." But Chi-ji is like a bootlicker. I was very disappointed. "What about me? I'm 3 months pregnant, and this is your first time in the hospital." Chi-ji looked a little embarrassed. "This prenatal checkup is all during the day. I have to turn down a lot of social engagements when I come here. My boss will scold me. Besides, every time you let that pretty boy pick you up, people say there's something fishy going on over my head." Seeing that he was not in the right, Chi-ji quickly found a topic to blame me. If it wasn't for Lu Chuan, it would have been 120 that took me away. "Chi-ji, have you ever really cared about me over the years?" When Chi-ji heard this, he immediately raised his voice excitedly. "Jiang Yu, I know you've always looked down on me for being born in a lowly family. That's why you mention that rich second-generation guy in front of me every day. But why don't I care about you? Who am I working so hard to make money for? Isn't it for you and the children?" Patients and medical staff passing by in the corridor looked sideways and whispered to each other. "Oh, every time we argue, Chi-ji always puts himself in the position of the victim, but makes me suffer unwarranted judgment. Chi-ji, don't make yourself sound so noble. You haven't spent a penny on me since we got married." I sneered. "The car is mine, and I paid the mortgage. Did you draft your lies before we got married? I thought you were just living frugally because you were poor when you were little, but now it seems that you are stingy and selfish by nature." Chi-ji was stunned that I didn't comfort, enlighten, or coax him like I did before, and he started to stutter. "That's right. I was always afraid of hurting his reputation and never said anything, but I made him forget his own worth. Jiang Yu, so you really think of me this way? As expected, you just like that rich second-generation guy." Chi-ji pretended to be sad, lowered his head and murmured softly. He silently opened the thermos lunchbox beside him and scooped out the black chicken soup for me to drink. "No matter what, I'm your husband. Look, I only slept for 3 hours last night just to make you chicken soup. Can you have a sip? Chi-Ji stroked my bangs to my ears and fed me tenderly. I opened my mouth subconsciously, but a pungent smell rushed into my nostrils and my stomach churned again. Chi-Ji, I don't eat coriander. He was stunned. But you are always prepared, that's because you said you liked it. But I've never eaten it, I said calmly. Besides, this soup was bought from the restaurant downstairs. Next time you lie, remember to remove the mushrooms with the restaurant logo printed on them. After saying that, I pushed the bowl back with a sad heart, and the soup accidentally spilled on his shirt. At this time, a female voice was heard. Oh, I didn't believe you before. But I didn't expect your wife is really hard to please. I looked up, it was Jiangyu, Chi-Ji's obedient female boss. When Chi-Ji saw her, he hurriedly wiped his clothes with paper and stood up to give up his seat. Boss Jiang, why are you here? Jiangyu ignored him and smiled at me with her chin up. I heard that Chi-Ji didn't go to work to serve you, so I wanted to see what such a blessed woman looks like. At this time, after a night of tossing and turning, my face was haggard and my hair was messy. Jiangyu, who was wearing delicate makeup, looked me up and down and sneered. So Chi-Ji likes this. I frowned, picked up the bowl of chicken soup and threw it into the trash can at Jiangyu's feet, splashing the soup all over her legs and causing her to scream. Chi-Ji looked embarrassed and blurted out, "She is a pregnant woman. How can she be as pretty as Ms. Jiang? You must not take her seriously." I was like a spectator. It just so happens that Chi-Ji and I are getting divorced soon. If Mr. Jiang really likes him, he can go find him in the trash can. He can take this blessing. Chi-Ji glared at me, then looked at Jiangyu in a flattering manner. She was just joking. Don't take it seriously. I have had the divorce agreement delivered to your study. Jiangyu, Chi-Ji shouted with red eyes. Jiangyu sneered again. Only incompetent people talk about divorce every day. Then she swayed out of the ward, leaving behind a few words nonchalantly. Chi-Ji, come to the company for a meeting in half an hour. If you are late, you will be finished. Chi-Ji hurriedly picked up his coat, leaned over and held my hand before he left, and said softly, "Be good, I'll come see you later." I was hospitalized for a few days because of fetal movement. In the past few days, Chi-Ji has not shown up again. And there has not even been a phone call. Of course, this was also what I expected, and I didn't take the initiative to look for him. But I didn't expect that the work he mentioned was actually going out to play. On the day I was about to be discharged from the hospital, I saw the circle of friends of Jiangyu's team-building trip to Sonya. In the photo, Chi-Ji hooked his finger with Jiangyu's and posed at the beach, both of them smiling brightly. I commented with a sneer, "Since you are in such a hurry to go on your honeymoon, why not ask Chi-Ji to sign the divorce agreement as soon as possible?" After typing this, my heart sank completely into the ice cellar. In his heart, his pregnant wife in the hospital was not as important as accompanying his female boss. Soon, Chi-Ji called on the phone. I hung up the phone decisively, and then asked the doctor to transfer me to the obstetrics and gynecology department to make an appointment for an abortion. It was only after the abortion that I replied to Chi-Ji's hundreds of missed calls. You misunderstood. This is a company team building event and the photos are staged. Jiangyu is really just my boss. Chi-Ji defended himself anxiously, but I felt nothing inside. Oh, even if Jiangyu is your mother, it has nothing to do with me. I'm calling to tell you that I've aborted the baby. If you don't sign the agreement, we'll see you in court. Lu Chuan was standing not far away in the corridor, carefully observing my expression. When he saw me hang up the phone, he immediately ran over. He shook the doorman lunchbox in his hand and said proudly, "Beef soup and yam and lean meat porridge. Come on, you just had surgery, so make up for it." Lu Chuan, why are you wearing gloves in the middle of summer? I tried to pull off his gloves in confusion, revealing his fingers with 2 band-aids on them. Lu Chuan looked embarrassed, hesitating, and laughing awkwardly. I'm used to typing with these hands, but I didn't expect that they wouldn't work when it comes to cutting beef. Don't be disgusted. I swear the meat is definitely cooked. This time it was my turn to be stunned, and my fingertips felt a little unnatural when I took the lunchbox. This is a long-lost feeling of being cared for. Lu Chuan is an out-and-out rich second generation, born in a county town. I would have no intersection with him. Later, I was ranked first in the county in the high school entrance examination, and became his desk mate in the best class in the prosperous city. The difference was that he got in with money. During the 3 years of high school, we played and fought with each other and supervised each other, and we all did well in the college entrance examination. But I knew that apart from being a simple student, family background would be a huge gap between us, so I rejected Lu Chuan's secret confession. Later I went to an Ivy League university and met Chi-ji. Lu Chuan went abroad, and the next time I saw him was at Chi-ji and I's wedding banquet. Thinking back on this, I can't help but smile to myself. Lu Chuan, can you recommend a good divorce lawyer? Lu Chuan raised his head suddenly, his eyes flashed, but he quickly lowered his head and pretended not to care and replied, yes, you have a friend who wants to get a divorce, it's me who wants to leave. It looks like Chi-ji won't sign easily. Let's prepare for a rainy day. Lu Chuan's mouth corners slightly raised, but he still pretended to be calm. Oh, I see. I just happen to know a very capable female practitioner. I'll recommend her to you later. Thank you, Lu Chuan. When I got home in the evening, I started collecting divorce litigation materials in front of my computer. Suddenly, someone hugged me from behind, and I felt a warm and wet touch on my neck. Xiao Xiao, you can hit me or scold me if you are angry. But how can you hit our child? Chi-ji turned around and kissed me as if to vent his anger, and refused to let go even when I hit his back. I felt sick and grabbed his hair and threw him to the ground. Chi-ji lay on the floor in a daze, his eyes full of hurt. When you were angry before, I would just kiss you and you would be fine. You never got mean to me. I know I've been busy with work these days and neglected you. I'm wrong. I'll transfer all my salary this month to you, okay? As long as you don't get angry. After saying that, I received a transfer on WeChat. In the past, every time I questioned whether he loved money more than me, he would shed tears and give me a large sum of money to show his loyalty. Every time this moment comes, I feel that I am too sensitive and regret misunderstanding him, so I never accept his transfer. Now it seems that this is just a tactic that has worked for him time and time again. This time, I clicked receive without hesitation. Chi-ji stared at the screen of his mobile phone and rubbed his eyes in disbelief. I seemed to hear the sound of his heart breaking. Haha. Breaking a guy's defense is as easy as breathing. Chi-ji, why don't you spend your life with money? Why do you come to bother me? I drove Chi-ji back to the living room and locked the door. I've already found a divorce lawyer. You can handle it yourself. Chi-ji was furious outside the door. Jiang Yu, do you know how popular your husband is out there? How many people are waiting for me to divorce you? Are you going to go to court just because of such a small matter? If it weren't for my responsibility to you, I would have married Jiang Yu a long time ago, and I could have worked 10 years less. After saying that, he slammed the door and left. It's so funny. Chi-ji has been in society for several years, but he doesn't even know whether Jiang Yu loves him or just because he is cheap and useful. But this also gave me a new idea. Maybe Jiang Yu is the breakthrough for our divorce. In the next few days, Chi-ji continued to play dumb, going out early and coming back late, avoiding me. He is a shrewd man and will only give in when forced by interests. Tonight, Jiang Yu will take him to a small business gathering on behalf of the company to attract resources for the new project, in the KTV box. Chi-ji kept toasting and smiling to the big guys present, and then asked Jiang Yu in a low voice, Boss Jiang, didn't you say that an investor who would spend a lot of money would come? It's been an hour and he hasn't come yet. I can't drink anymore. Don't drink yet. We are here for him tonight. Just as he finished speaking, a voice that Chi-ji was very familiar with came. Sorry for the wait. Chi-ji's expression froze, and he looked stunned. Lu Chuan. When Jiang Yu saw Lu Chuan, he quickly stood up and greeted him. Mr. Lu, I heard that you have invested in so many good projects in just a few years since you returned to China. You really have a keen eye. Lu Chuan looked up at Jiang Yu and said with interest, so you are Mr. Jiang from Group A. I heard that your company is just one step away from going public. What a pity. Jiang Yu looked puzzled. What does Mr. Lu mean by this? So you guys didn't know yet. No wonder you still have the nerve to come out to the party. Lu Chuan sank into the soft sofa, shaking his red wine glass leisurely. Suddenly, Another man in a suit in the box shouted, "Everyone, everyone, check your mailbox. This is so exciting." Chi-ji and Jiang-yu also took out their mobile phones with curiosity and found that they had received a group email, but after clicking it, Chi-ji instantly started to tremble all over. And Jiang-yu collapsed directly on the seat. Attached is a large-scale video and some intimate photos of Chi-ji and Jiang-yu making love in the hotel. The box suddenly became lively, with the two people's moans echoing in the air, and everyone was whispering with a look of excitement on their faces. "Didn't Chi-ji get married a long time ago? I heard his wife is pregnant. Cheating during marriage and pregnancy. What a bastard. I didn't expect that, Mr. Jiang would have a secret relationship with his male subordinates. Then the bosses couldn't stand it anymore. Sorry, Mr. Jiang. We have decided to withdraw our investment. Let's cooperate again next time if there is a chance," Lu Chuan said with a look of regret. "Alas. It seems that the news will soon spread throughout the industry. I was very optimistic about yours." Jiang Yu's face turned pale, and he stumbled out of the box. Chi-ji's eyes were bloodshot as he yelled at Lu Chuan, "Lu Chuan. You plotted against me. Did you team up with Jiang Yu to do this? Since you like my wife so much, I will just give her to you. Why do you want to ruin my future?" Lu Chuan glanced at him. "Calculation. I have no interest in your family affairs. It's just that someone has exposed your dirty deeds. If a man dares to do it, he should be brave enough to admit it later." Chi-ji could never have imagined that he was the one who destroyed himself. "I just asked Lu Chuan to attend the party. But he didn't know where things were going before he went, and he didn't get directly involved. I also didn't want to drag him into my disputes." Chi-ji hardly ever came home these days. When I was looking through his computer in the study, I found that he was busy with the company's listing. But soon, I found an extremely secret folder, which contained intimate videos of him and Jiang Yu. I used to think that Chi-ji was just stingy and bad in character. But I didn't expect that he was also cheating on me physically, and it seemed that Chi-ji secretly recorded the video and Jiang Yu was not aware of it. Chi-ji probably wanted to threaten Jiang Yu when necessary, so he had something he could use to hold her hostage. But he didn't expect to be discovered by me, and he ended up suffering the consequences. In order to make the matter more impactful, I used Chi-ji's transfer that day to buy hot searches and made the headlines during prime internet time. You know what, it feels pretty good to spend a man's money. The next day after sending the email, Chi-ji begged me to go through the divorce procedures as soon as possible, because the company needs to give the public a reasonable explanation for the scandal as soon as possible. And Chi-ji's divorce certificate can be used to fool the public. He almost knelt down to beg me, but I kicked him to the ground and looked down at him. Unfortunately, I suddenly don't want to leave after saying that. I turned around and left. I won't let him succeed so easily. That afternoon, Jiang Yu asked me out at a high-end restaurant. The moment I received the message, the corners of my mouth curled up slightly. Sure enough, she became anxious. She lost her usual spirit and efficiency, and her tone was a little low. 5 million to buy your and Chi-ji's divorce certificate. 10 million. Without even raising my head, I slowly said a number. Jiang Yu gritted her teeth and said, "Deal. I want to see your divorce certificate tomorrow. Considering that their company is about to go public, 10 million is not expensive." Chi-ji hurriedly left the house with nothing. When he moved out of the house, he took almost nothing except the necessities. When he issued a clarification announcement, I ignored the reporter's phone calls seeking verification and pressed the matter. After all, my goal had been achieved. It seems like Chi-ji wasn't too sad about divorcing me. Although Jiang Yu was demoted because of him, neither of them had a fight in public. Instead, Chi-ji directly moved into her large flat and told others that they had been living together and in love for a long time. But I no longer pay attention to their affairs. Finally, I don't have to serve him anymore, and I can focus on my career and my life every day. One day, I was feeding a beautiful calico stray cat downstairs in the community. And Chi-ji with bright red slap marks on his face suddenly appeared in front of me. After just 1 month of not seeing him, he looked haggard, with scratches on his face and arms, and a scruffy beard, looking like a homeless man. He walked forward with his eyes drooping and wanted to hold my hand. "I miss you so much." I was startled, thinking that some homeless man had broken into the community, so I threw a handful of cat food in his face and called for security. Chi-ji covered my mouth in panic. I'm Chi-ji. When I heard the familiar voice, not only did I not shut up, I shouted even louder. I pushed him to the ground with my backhand and called the security guard in the distance to kick this suspicious person out. I'll just talk and then leave. Please stop screaming. Chi-ji begged. I crossed my arms. Why, didn't you say that everyone would line up to marry you after your divorce? It's been a month, and Jiangyu hasn't come to marry you yet. I looked at the wound on Chi-ji's body and smiled. Your little hobby is quite unique. Chi-ji stammered. Let's remarry. Chi-ji, if you are sick, go get treatment. I rolled my eyes and replied coldly. I don't really want a divorce. I was just playing around with Jiangyu. You have always been the one I love the most. Chi-ji burst into tears. That woman blamed me for everything. Not only did she treat me like an animal at work, but she also made me sweep the floor and cook for her at home. In order to torture me, she withheld my salary and fired the nanny at home, saying that I should compensate her for the loss of salary due to her demotion. Jiangyu's previous words about appreciating and loving me were fake. Only your love is real. I know I was wrong. Will you come back to me? I sighed, looking sympathetic, but it's not Chi-ji who I sympathize with, but myself. The identities were switched and Chi-ji went crazy in just 1 month, but I had endured it for so many years. I felt sorry for myself for waking up too late. Chi-ji, why do you think I would still want you? You are no longer capable of anything. I used to be fooled by your cheap sweet talk, but now it doesn't work anymore. Go away, or I'll call security. Chi-ji wanted to open his mouth to say something, but I didn't want to see him again, so I turned around and went upstairs. He wanted to follow, but was blocked by the access control because his information had been deleted by the property management long ago. The sky gradually darkened, but Chi-ji refused to leave. He stood downstairs looking at my balcony like a stubborn person. After this incident, my heart has become as hard as stone. Acting pitiful is useless to me, so I don't bother to pay attention to him. I took out the spicy beef oil hot pot base at home and put all the ingredients on the table. This was the first time I ate spicy food at home. My hometown is in a mountain city. I have loved spicy food since I was a child, and I love hot pot especially. But since living with Chi-ji, no chili pepper can be allowed in the house, just because he has a light taste. Once, I put the chili sauce that my mother sent me on the table, and Chi-ji threw it into the trash can with disgust. Only poor people like spicy food. Who here would eat such strong food? I was wondering why you had acne recently, and it turns out you were eating junk food behind my back. I was so angry that day that I didn't let him into the house for 3 days. His thinking is so narrow-minded that I doubt how he got into university. Besides, I got acne because I was anxious and insomniac after staying up all night on a project. He would just say, I told you that women can't handle projects, their mental quality is too poor. I posted a circle of friends about drinking Coke and eating hot pot, and at the same time sent a photo of him refusing to leave downstairs to Jiangyu. Hurry up and take your man away. He's getting in the way of me eating hot pot. Soon, she replied to me, it's bad luck. Wherever he falls in love with has nothing to do with me. As expected, annoying people are annoying everywhere. I was just wondering how to get rid of this guy without going downstairs when I received Lu Chuan's message. Jiangyu, you didn't even invite me to your hot pot party. That's really not nice of you. I suddenly had an idea and replied, there's a fly downstairs in my house. If you drive it away, I'll add a set of bowls and chopsticks. How about that? That's easy. After a moment of silence, Lu Chuan added another message, can it be long-term dishes? Later. I saw Lu Chuan on the balcony just approaching Chi-ji and saying a few words, and Chi-ji collapsed and ran away, and never showed up again for the next few days. I asked Lu Chuan, but he refused to say anything. After Chi-ji was kicked out of the house by Jiangyu, Lu Chuan suddenly became a little upset. I grabbed Lu Chuan by the collar and asked what was going on. He felt like he had a thorn in his back, and pouted his lips in grievance. Jiangyu is harassing me. Ever since you asked me to attend that business party, she has been a participant in every party I've attended. She said she wanted to form an alliance with my family. Why are you giving me a name? A high-quality single young man like me is too easy to be targeted. I was a little amused and confused. Jiang Yu probably didn't want to be tied down by Chi-ji, so after the storm was over, she went to find the rich and powerful Lu Chuan. I touched Lu Chuan's head and said, "Okay. I'll go to the party with you next time." I thought Chi-ji had really given up this time, but I didn't expect that this was just the beginning. 2 weeks later, when I came back, I saw an old woman in a red jacket standing in front of her house. When she saw me, her cloudy eyes sparkled and she held my hand lovingly. "You're back, it's so cold. Why are you wearing so little? Grandma, why are you here?" Xiaoji called and cried, saying that he missed me. But he was too busy at work to go home, so I bought a ticket and came to see you. Her wrinkled face relaxed and she looked behind me again. "Where's Xiaoji? Why don't you go home together?" I was stunned for a moment and had to settle her in the living room first. He took out his cell phone and dialed the number that had been blocked for a long time. "Chi-ji, do you want your grandma to take the blame for the bad things you did? She is old and in poor health. How can she withstand the torment?" Chi-ji chuckled on the other end of the phone. "Yeah, if grandma knew that you beat the child and forced me to divorce, she would definitely not be able to bear it. My grandma likes you so much. You feel bad about it, right?" His tone was full of pride. "As long as you remarry me obediently and live a good life, grandma will go back with peace of mind." This really refreshed my understanding of the bottom line of human diversity. Chi-ji's parents divorced when he was very young, and they only sent him child support regularly, so he has been dependent on his grandmother ever since. I felt sorry for his background, so I often went home with him to visit my grandmother. She also liked me very much and would often stand on my side no matter whose fault it was. Every time I visit my grandma, I think of my own deceased grandmother, as if I were back to the warmth of my childhood. But Chi-ji actually used this pure feeling to threaten me. "Chi-ji, we are divorced. I don't need to be responsible for your relatives, and I won't be responsible." Chi-ji was silent for a moment. "Xiao Xiao, I have no choice. I really need you. Why don't you understand my good intentions? Oh, even the rhubarb in grandma's house has a better conscience than you. Then let me tell you, it's impossible." After saying that, I hung up the phone. A few days later, I sent my grandmother to the train station, and she arrived home safely half a day later. These days, I took a leave to take my grandma to visit the city, and Lu Chuan was with me. At first Lu Chuan was very nervous, fearing that I would lose my chastity and wrong myself again like before. I laughed at him for not understanding me at all. Although grandma loves Chi-ji very much, I know she is a sensible person. I told her the truth directly. At first, grandma was silent and found it hard to accept, but after a day of getting along with her, she smiled with relief, sighed and said, is a good child. It's that bastard Chi-ji who doesn't have this blessing." Then she looked at Lu Chuan with a smile. "This boy is more lively than Xiaoji. If you bully you again, I can't walk anymore, so I'll let Diehuang go into the city to bite you." She raised her cane as if to punish Lu Chuan, laughing happily. Lu Chuan also cooperated, shivering and curled up on the side. "Grandma, can you help me ask Jiang Yu when she will marry me?" After Chi-ji finally realized that I had no room for maneuver towards him, he sent flowers and afternoon tea desserts to my company for a month as if to compensate me. I disdained to eat them but also didn't want to waste food, so I gave them all to my interns who were living in financial difficulties. When Lu Chuan found out, he got angry and sent a bigger one, and directly paid for the afternoon tea for the whole company. I joked with him, "Since you two came, the owner of the flower and dessert shop has bought a new car." Lu Chuan curled his lips and said, "I can't let that guy outdo me." But not long after, I heard that Chi-ji proposed to Jiang Yu at the company's annual meeting. In the photo, Jiang Yu, who was wearing a gorgeous dress, did not look happy and surprised, but rather embarrassed. The executive of their company, who used to have a good relationship with me, sent me a message. "Everyone knows that if it weren't for the previous incident, there's no way Mr. Jiang would have given him a formal status. Chi-ji has been spreading the word that he is Jiang Yu's dear husband and wants me to help plan a proposal. It's so funny. Jiang Yu decisively rejected him without giving him any face at all. I just watched it for fun. Chi-ji contributed most of the gossip about their company. And everyone had more fun at work. After he knew there was no hope of remarrying, he decisively grabbed Jiangyu and pulled her out. For the Phoenix man, Jiangyu's resources and status are much more valuable than Chi-ji's dignity and face. But how could Jiangyu, who had lived a life of luxury, not see through Chi-ji's plan? Naturally, abandoning him was as easy as throwing away garbage. Not long after, Chi-ji was fired by the company. I heard that his colleagues looked down on him and his boss disliked him, and after he left the company, everyone felt sorry that the gossip center in the company should change owners. Because Chi-ji's glorious deeds were so widely known among his peers, other companies did not dare to hire him. Because he couldn't find a job, he packed his luggage and went to a city far away from here. Before leaving, he found me. He waited downstairs of my company for a long time. The ambition and calculation he had before were gone from his face, and instead were tinged with frustration and determination to start over. You always said that I have changed. I was always shining in college, but after seeing the world, I always feel that the world is unfair to me. I hate myself for not being a rich second generation and losing at the starting line. I have forgotten my original intention. Until that day, even my grandmother, who always loved me, said she was disappointed in me. I realized then that I was too greedy. I love you, but I will never bother you again. Can you forgive me? Chi-ji's eyes were filled with sadness and his voice was hoarse. There was no ripple in my eyes. I turned around and said calmly, "Be well, everyone, later." I sold the house and replaced it with the large French windows that I have always liked. I also have a golden tabby cat. On sunny days, when the sun shines in, it turns over on its belly in my arms and acts like a spoiled child, feeling warm. On rainy days, I set up a table and eat hot pot while watching the rain. The white noise of the rain helps me clear my mind. Lu Chuan became more and more clingy. Who would have thought that he, a businessman who is a big name in the investment world, would always hum and whine in front of me? But it's still cute. He never lets me get involved in the complicated conflicts of interest behind him. Our chat box only contains information about what to eat and where to go. It's so cute and our life is simple and happy. Because I am not bothered by too many family matters, I have been able to do my job steadily and solidly, and everything has gone smoothly. My hobbies have become more and more diverse, including music festivals, art exhibitions, pet team building. Every weekend is beautiful and fulfilling. After falling down, I finally learned to live for myself. Next. Let's listen to the next story. When my daughter was just 1 month old, my husband's secretary came to us and said that she was pregnant. After consulting a fortune teller, the fortune teller said it was a boy. That night, my mother-in-law slammed the divorce agreement signed by my husband on the table. "The child is yours, and the house is mine. If you don't sign, forget about having a child, for the sake of my daughter." I endured a face full of acne caused by the folk remedies that my mother-in-law secretly fed me during my pregnancy. I walked into the devil training camp weighing 150 kilograms. 3 months later, my ex-husband commented on the beautiful photo of me leaning against a Porsche at 96 pounds. "Is this really you?" Zhao Heng is a top student at Peking University, while I am a poor student at a third-tier university. He came from a rural family and because of his excellent academic performance, he received a scholarship to study in high school in Beijing, the same school as me, same high school, same teacher. He was a top student who got admitted to Peking University, while I only got into an unremarkable third-tier university. So when we were talking about marriage, Zhao Xiaoping looked down on me anyway. My parents had already said that the most important thing for young people to get married is to like each other, and they didn't plan to ask for a dowry. Before she could even finish her words, Zhao Xiaoping started cursing. "What, you still want a dowry? Your daughter graduated from a third-tier university. It's too high for her to marry my son. Why do you want a dowry? It's up to you to marry her. Alright, do you really think your son is a golden treasure? I won't marry you anymore." But her son didn't have as bad a temper as her. He knelt in the rain all night, begging me not to leave. He was about to graduate and was very busy. But he still came to see me every day, stuck to me and took care of me. The most common thing he said to me was, "Please don't leave me." He was such a strong man. but his eyes were filled with brokenness. He begged me not to abandon him like a little puppy wagging its tail for mercy. I said, "It's not that I don't want you. It's that your mother doesn't agree with our marriage." Zhao Heng seemed very impatient. She is a rural woman who can't read or write. How can she understand what love is? It's her business if she is short-sighted. Anyway, I love you and I only want you. Zhao Heng, will marry you in this life. Zhao Heng kept saying that his mother was a rural woman who knew nothing and it was understandable that she had a low quality, so he asked me not to take it seriously. But I didn't feel so comfortable with this, until the day when they went to look at wedding dresses before their engagement. Zhao Xiaoping started muttering about how there was no need to take wedding photos and it was a waste of money. Zhao Heng suddenly became furious and scolded her in front of everyone. "Nan Nan is very important to me. She deserves all the beautiful and expensive things in this world. If you are not satisfied, go back to the countryside and we won't meet again, so that neither of us will be unhappy." Seeing Zhao Heng so angry, Zhao Xiaoping was immediately discouraged and said timidly, "That's not what I meant." Seeing Zhao Xiaoping awkwardly speechless with tears in her eyes, I felt a little soft-hearted and pulled Zhao Heng's sleeve. Zhao Heng touched my head and whispered softly. I said, "No matter who it is, I will never let you suffer any injustice." Zhao Heng always took my side and was tough in front of his mother. In addition, Zhao Xiaoping gradually shut up and didn't dare to say anything more. This made me gradually relax my guard and feel that there should be no major problems in our relationship as mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. After all, it seemed that Zhao Xiaoping had given up opposing this marriage, and Zhao Heng always doted on me and stood by me. Why can't I muster a little more courage to repay his determination? My parents have always admired people who are good at studying and have a good brain, and they like Zhao Heng very much. Seeing how hard Zhao Heng worked, she no longer expected him to offer any dowry given his poor family background. He even paid the 3 million down payment for the house and said, "As long as you are happy, I thought we would be happy." I never considered Zhao Xiaoping a threat at all. Zhao Xiaoping is a single mother. It may not be easy to be a single mother in the countryside, so after Zhao Heng was admitted to Peking University, her vanity became even more outrageous. She feels that no one in the world can compare to her son. In her opinion, her son is so outstanding. It would be more symmetrical for you to marry a beautiful, rich woman who graduated from a prestigious university and has a net worth of billions. It would be too unfair for you to marry me. At first she just looked down on my academic qualifications, but later we lived together. There are so many things about me that she dislikes. In her eyes, nothing I do is qualified or satisfactory. He always wants to use his academic qualifications to speak. If you hadn't seduced my son in high school, do you think you would have had a chance to marry into our Zhao family in this lifetime? A person from the lower class like you can't even see my son. I felt funny and pulled Zhao Heng out, thinking for a matter of course that he would stand on my side. But I didn't expect that Zhao Heng, who used to be very obedient to me and treated me like a spoiled brat in front of Zhao Xiaoping, seemed to have become a different person after getting married. No matter what his mother said before, he would say, "She's a country woman who doesn't know anything. Don't bother with her, just do whatever you want, I'll listen to you." Now he suddenly acted like a macho man and pointed at my nose threateningly. "Lin Nan, why are you so nosy? My mom is the elder. Just listen to what she says, don't talk back, and don't force me to slap you." Slap me? He actually wanted to slap me again. I looked at the man in front of me with his eyes wide open. Angry face and cold eyes. He was nothing like the person in my memory. He is totally not like this. I still can't understand why a person could change so suddenly and drastically. I couldn't believe my eyes. "Do you know what you are talking about?" Zhao Heng also said confidently. "Lin Nan, we are married now, and marriage is about living together. I don't have the energy to coax you every day. If you are still as hypocritical as before, don't blame me for being rude to you." Seeing her son speak like this, Zhao Xiaoping was extremely proud. She was as proud as if she had given birth to a mighty and powerful general. I wish Zhao Heng would slap me twice. Later I found out that their village was a very feudal place that advocated male chauvinism. As long as you marry into their family, you become a property of their family. Men are the sky and everything. A man should be tough with women. It's a sign of ability for a man to beat his wife, in Zhao Heng's opinion. I am his now, so there is no need for him to be so pretentious in taking care of me like he did before he got me. But I don't believe it. I really can't believe that the Zhao Heng I knew before was just a mask with superb acting skills. I would rather think that he was in a bad mood and was tired from work, which led to his bad mood. So I went back to my parents' house and waited for him to calm down and apologize to me. But he didn't come. I lived in my mother's house for half a month. And the neighbors started gossiping. An old lady saw me walking in the park and started gossiping about me to others. She's lived here for half a month. Yes, the duck is already cooked. Who would try to coax her? She wouldn't really believe that others like her, right? It's because she's easy to fool. Just get married after graduation and get a Beijing residence permit. I always thought that Zhao Heng really liked me, so as the school's idol and top student, he would put aside his pride and confess to me actively. He kept pursuing me, who was ordinary. I always thought it was love and never thought that he had other intentions. I always thought those gossips were just because they were jealous of my happy life. But now, they have been confirmed one by one. I stayed at home for a whole month, and Zhao Heng didn't come to see me or even call me. I was disheartened and suddenly realized that all the good things in the past were just a dream he deliberately created. His pursuit, his unconditional love and obedience were all traps deliberately created to lure me. And it's not at all because he likes me. It is to obtain a Beijing hukou so that his life and career will be more successful in the future. I felt ridiculous and sad. During this time at home, I have been eating and sleeping poorly, feeling dazed and having a decreased appetite. I went to the pharmacy to buy medicine, and the clerk asked me carefully whether my menstruation was normal. It suddenly occurred to me that I hadn't had my period for several months. I had this problem before when I had irregular menstruation, so I didn't take it too seriously and thought it would get better on its own, and this time, it was obviously not menstrual irregularity. I looked at the pregnancy test stick with 2 bars and suddenly felt confused. One is for her hopeless marriage, and the other is for the little life in her belly. I couldn't sleep that night and searched a lot about the growth of children from single-parent families and the cases of single mothers. I don't care so much about whether I suffer or not. What I want to know is whether this child can grow up like other children without a father. The answer is obvious. No, no matter how hard a mother tries, she cannot give her child a healthy personality and happy childhood that a complete family can give. This lack will affect the child's life. This put me in an unprecedented dilemma. Just when I didn't know what to choose, Zhao Heng and Zhao Shouping came to my house. I don't know how they found out about my pregnancy, but it was probably related to those gossipy aunties in our neighborhood. They brought a lot of things, not only for me, but also gifts for my parents. Zhao Shouping's attitude was particularly good. As soon as we met, she asked about my well-being, held my hand, coaxed me, and admitted her mistakes. He said that he was too feudal, had a bad attitude, and said the wrong things. For my age, can you please forgive me? There is no question of forgiveness or no forgiveness between her and me. I just don't want to see her at all. I shook off her hand and looked at Zhao Heng coldly, wanting to see if he would slap me again for treating his mother like that. Unexpectedly, Zhao Heng knelt down in front of me. It's the same thing again. Wife, I'm wrong. I didn't do that well. Please forgive me and come back with me. Okay. I shook off his hand and didn't want to say anything more. Zhao Heng was calm. He held my hand and said a lot. Wife, I grew up without a father and suffered a lot of bullying. The pain I felt is beyond words. I don't want our children to be like me and have no father in the future. Zhao Shouping also said. Yes. Do you think it's easy to raise a child alone? At that time, I was washing dishes in the restaurant with my son Zhao Heng on my back. After washing, I found that he had a fever, but I didn't dare to take him to the hospital because I had no money and owed 3 months of rent. Zhao Shouping started crying as she spoke, and Zhao Heng was also very moved and his eyes turned red. The mother and son hugged each other and cried. The scene was very awkward for a while. I have to say, this is exactly what I am worried about. In fact, I am afraid that my child will be without a father. A big reason why I chose to marry Zhao Heng was that I thought he could be a good father. He studies well, has a strong character, and is able to endure hardships. I think these are good qualities that a father can possess. Seeing that Zhao Heng couldn't persuade me, Zhao Shouping simply knelt down. Nan Nan, please forgive me, I kneel down in front of you and beg you to come back. I will take good care of you. From now on, whatever you say is what I will never say no. I swear in front of your parents. My parents were frightened by her behavior and rushed forward to pull her up. Zhao Heng took out his cell phone and opened the memo, which was filled with the names he had given his children. I've been thinking about it all night. Take a look. Do you like anything? I went home because I wanted this baby. This is my child. I don't want to abort her, but I also don't want her to be born without a father. And after I got pregnant, I suddenly felt relieved. I suddenly felt that it didn't matter whether Zhao Heng loved me or why he was with me. I just hope my baby can have a complete family and a good life. I am looking forward to this baby. So I eat nutritious meals and exercise every day. I listen to classical music for prenatal education. Anyway, as a pregnant mother, I tried my best to do everything I could for my baby, and my mother-in-law, the one who promised to take good care of me, is crazy and superstitious about folk remedies. In order to help me give birth to a son, she secretly added some Chinese medicinal herbs from a folk remedy into the nourishing black chicken soup for me without my knowledge. Black chicken soup is a nourishing soup, which contains some Chinese medicinal herbs, so I had no doubts at all. I drank it for several months without knowing it, and it caused my endocrine system to become imbalanced. A face full of pimples broke out, and I started to become swollen and fat. Zhao Heng was very reluctant to go home during that period. Even when he came home, he would avoid me and refuse to look at me. He also used work as an excuse not to sleep in the same bed with me. One morning when he was going out, I handed him a bag. He took one look and showed an expression of disgust. Like seeing a cockroach, he said to me, "Your face is disgusting." I cried for a long time that day, until I vomited, and the sour water I vomited was so bitter that I couldn't speak. Only then did I realize that Zhao Shouping had given me some unknown secret recipe, and I went to question her. Zhao Shouping coaxed her gently for the first time. "Be good, if you eat this, you will give birth to a son. Zhao Heng is the only man in our Zhao family, so we must give birth to a son." This is how Bebe got fetal toxicity. After she was born, her whole body was covered with red rashes. She was in so much pain that she couldn't be touched. If she was touched, she would cry heartbreakingly. Every sound seemed to be twisting my heart and making me feel pain. The doctor left a bottle of medicine and asked me to put it in a spray bottle. When the child cried, I could spray a little on her skin to relieve her pain. I had just given birth and was very weak. The baby was crying so hard that I was almost suffocated, but Zhao Shouping sat there, indifferent. She crossed her legs, holding a cigarette in her mouth, and called relatives in the village, saying this with great regret. "Useless, she's just a girl, right, what's the use of her?" The family of the patient in the next bed asked her to go out and smoke, but she cursed them, saying that the ward was not a public place and that she had paid and could smoke whenever she wanted. I really didn't have the energy to say more. I just kept asking her to get the spray bottle and spray some medicine on Bebe. She said, "It's okay for a child to cry." At that time, I really wanted to kill her. That's right. When Bebe was born, Zhao Heng was still working. My parents came and found that he was not there. They learned that he had not shown up, so they called him and scolded him. When he came, he looked very annoyed and muttered, "It's just to have a child. Don't you want the whole world to revolve around you?" It was not until this moment that I realized that he did more than just not love me. He, Zhao Shouping, and the Zhao family didn't even treat me as a human being. I turned my head and looked at my daughter who had just fallen asleep in her cradle. I had never been so angry in my life. Only by killing him and his mother can this anger be extinguished. He came, but he still had to work. He was sitting next to the bed with his laptop open, busy with something unknown. Then Bebe started crying because of the pain from his skin disease. Not only him, but even I had never heard such a shrill and tragic cry from a baby. He couldn't concentrate on his work because of the crying, but he didn't bother to ask what was wrong with the child. Instead, he turned around and yelled at our whole family. "Can you please stop her from crying? I have to hand this over before 12 o'clock. My father couldn't stand it anymore and scolded him. "Zhao Heng, you are so promising. Why don't you ask the child why she is crying? It's all because of your mother. when my nan was pregnant, she added some unknown recipe to her food, which caused the fetus to eat poison. Zhao Xiaoping got angry immediately and started to make trouble like a shrew. What's wrong with taking folk remedies? That's a folk remedy from our hometown, used to give birth to a son. What's the use of taking it? Did she give birth to a son? My mother, who had never uttered a single curse word in her life, was forced by her to yell like a shrew. What's wrong with not having a son? What era is this? Is it a sin not to have a son? Do you have any humanity at all? The child is suffering like this, and my daughter has suffered so much in your family, and you still say such things. Zhao Xiaoping became angry and hit my mom. My dad pushed Zhao Xiaoping away to protect my mom. Then Zhao Heng got angry and started to hit my dad, shouting, "Don't touch my mom." When I saw Zhao Heng hitting my dad, I didn't know where I got the strength to jump up from the bed even though I was so weak after giving birth. He grabbed the stainless steel lunchbox on the table next to him and smashed it on his head. My father was shocked and encouraged. He didn't care about his dignity as an old professor and started fighting with Zhao Heng and his mother. So, on the day Bebe was born, our two families had a fight in the ward, 3 against 2, and we won. It's really funny when you think about it. I think the family of the patient in the next bed must have been thinking, how despicable this woman is, marrying into such a family and finding such a husband, and I couldn't stand it anymore. Let's get a divorce, okay? Zhao Heng agreed without even thinking about it. It was as if he had been waiting for me to say this for a long time. Zhao Xiaoping was so excited that she jumped up and down, pointing at me and humiliating me. "Li, you are like this, even a dog wouldn't want you. The forbearance has reached the point where it can no longer be tolerated." I grabbed the kettle beside me and, with all my strength, smashed it hard on her arrogant and vicious face. She was hit so hard that she screamed in pain, covered her face and hid behind Zhao Heng. Zhao Heng stepped forward and tried to attack me again, but my father punched him in the face. "Don't even think about laying a finger on my daughter." It was another chaotic fight, another joke. I've known for a long time that Zhao Heng has someone outside, but after I learned about his true face, I only thought about my child. I didn't want to care at all about what happened to him, but I didn't expect this person to be so arrogant. Before the cooling off period was over, she couldn't wait to come to my door. The mistress is called Linda, and she is the manager's secretary in Zhao Heng's department. Both of them are top students who graduated from Peking University, and it is said that they have been classmates since freshman year. She has a sexy figure, fashionable clothes, good skin, and is intellectual and elegant. Although we are the same age, I look like an old lady from the vegetable market next to her. With an out-of-shape figure, shabby clothes, and a face full of unsightly acne. "You are Lin Nan, right?" This was the first sentence she said to me. She gave me a standard polite smile, but her eyes were cold. After looking me up and down, his gaze turned into one of complete victory and condescension. Zhao Xiaoping has a pair of sharp eyes. After following her son to Beijing, she is very good at observing people's clothes. Seeing that she was wearing tens of thousands of dollars worth of branded clothes, she warmly welcomed her in with great respect. Linda didn't waste any words, and as soon as she sat down, she said, "I'm pregnant with Zhao Heng's baby. Whenever I think of this scene, it will be a shame for my whole life. It means that you, as a living being, are completely crushed by another living being. Even the smell in the air is her fragrance and you stink." She has a delicate face. And you have a face full of acne. You know that she is here to provoke you, but when you look up, you find that she is better than you in every way. You have no temper and can't utter a word. The suffocating and helplessness of being squeezed to the extreme made me suddenly realize that I was ruined. I was completely ruined by Zhao Heng, Zhao Xiaoping, and this failed marriage. I paid a heavy price, but in the end I got nothing. My daughter can't even have a dad. Zhao Xiaoping did not disappoint me. Her eyes were bright and she asked Linda with anticipation, "A boy or a girl?" Linda smiled, "Auntie, I don't know yet, but I'll go find the master. It's a boy." People who work in big companies are different. They know how to speak nonsense when they see ghosts. Zhao Xiaoping believed the master's divination. That night, she called me to the sofa in the living room and said, "Pack up and move out. Linda will be unhappy if you still live here after your divorce." This is the house my parents bought for me. If anyone wants to leave, it's you who should leave, Zhao Xiaoping sneered. As if she had expected me to say that and had been prepared for it, she asked me quietly, "Do you think the court will give the child to you given your current situation?" Before I had the chance to consult a lawyer about the child custody issue, Zhao Heng's lawyer came to my door. He did some calculations with me and said that I voluntarily put both Zhao Heng and I in the house's name, which was equivalent to my voluntarily considering it as joint property of the couple, rather than premarital property, and that if it was divided, it would be half each. I sneered. Our family paid the 3 million down payment for the house. Why should he get half? Lawyer Zhao Heng was waiting for me here, he said. Of course. This issue still depends on the negotiation results of both parties, but Ms. Lin, you should understand that the court will make a decision on child custody based on the viability of both parents. If Mr. Zhao insists on having child custody, you may not have an advantage. Only then did I suddenly understand their conspiracy. They want to use the custody of the child to threaten me to give them half of the property. To put it bluntly, they didn't want kids at all, but they knew I did. So use this as a threat to gain profit. I sneered. Do you think I don't know the law? The child is breastfeeding now, no one can take her away. Zhao Heng's lawyer smiled and said, yes, but this is a child custody issue. The breastfeeding period is limited. After the breastfeeding period is over, we can still sue for child custody. By then, will the result be any different? The lawyer's words reminded me, to fight for custody, courage alone is not enough, if I continue to be like this. Zhao Heng only needs to prove to the court that I have been unemployed and have no income for a long time. If I can't provide the child with the necessary and good educational environment like he did, the court will never give the child to me. The child has just been born and he can't take him away. But what about after the breastfeeding period? I don't have much time left. I want the child, and I want the house too. I will never let their plot succeed. It was at this moment that I realized that I was just like all the women who gave up their lives for their family. She became a housewife with nothing but her family and husband, and this identity and role means that your life will be ruined the moment your marriage breaks down. But at this moment when my life was beyond redemption, I was not afraid, because I am more than just me. I'm a mother now, my child needs my protection. I should be strong and stand up to shield her from all the storms and ugliness in this world before she grows up. At that moment, I understood what it meant to be a strong mother. I can't let my daughter become a joke of misfortune throughout her life because of her mother's incompetence. I will love her more than anyone else in the world. For Bebe, I picked myself up and went out to look for a job, but the reality was cruel. I had a poor academic background, had never worked before, and was a single mother with a child who had not yet gone to kindergarten. No company was willing to hire me, so I could only do some inconspicuous odd jobs without telling my parents. It was among these odd jobs that I found a high-paying job that only I could do, cosmetics trial model. When I first saw their recruitment information, I didn't understand what kind of job it was. Later someone told me that this was an advertisement for a cosmetics company and that they sold their products through live streaming. I like to plan to transform a housewife with acne all over her face into a beautiful lady. I signed up with the attitude of giving it a try because the salary they offered was so generous. The salary is 10,000 yuan a month, and there are additional rewards for each live broadcast. After arriving at the company, I found that there were a lot of people who came to sign up, and some of them were even more shameless than me. I suddenly felt that there was no hope. Just then, the head of the Human Resources Department came to explain the requirements. The first sentence is, "It is wishful thinking to want to have a brand new look simply by relying on cosmetics." Then he told us what the job really entailed. This includes a strict diet plan, exercise, medical beauty, and closed management for the first 3 months. To put it bluntly, you don't have enough to eat. You have to exercise every day, and you have to be monitored like you are in prison. Upon hearing this, most people in the hall left. They are all housewives who came here with the mentality of just having fun. I'm different. This job could save my life. I can accept that. I took a step forward and looked firmly at the HR director who had turned around and was about to walk back. He was very surprised and looked at me. Think about it carefully. What I just said is probably more painful than you can imagine. It challenges the limits of human beings. Is this the limit of human beings? I have been challenged by Zhao Xiaoping's folk remedies a long time ago. Now is the time for me to push my limits. I looked at him firmly and told him, I can do it. Before I started working, I held Bebe's soft little body in my arms and kissed her little face all night long, which made her unable to sleep well. People say that children cannot live without their mothers, but in fact it is the mothers who cannot live without their babies. When she thought about not being able to see her for 3 months and the possibility that she might be snatched away by the Zhao family at any time, she felt so heartbroken that she couldn't stop crying. My mother felt sorry for him and said, "Why don't you just not go? Both your parents have salaries. Let's get a certificate to show that we can support Bebe." I shook my head, wiped away my tears, and said firmly, "No, Bebe needs a capable mother. Only I can be her most solid and long-term support. I have made up my mind." I gritted my teeth, withdrew my gaze from her, and embarked on my own journey of transformation. When I joined the training department, the supervisor there told me that many people gave up on the first day, because it is a complete transformation and it will be very painful. I admit, I didn't know how painful it was at first. Of all the secrets to having better skin, the first one must be not to gain weight. I am too fat. I weighed a full 150 pounds after giving birth. Standing next to Linda, I felt like a mountain. Looking at her fairy-like slim figure, I feel inferior even without her looking down on me. So I spent these 2 months chewing cucumbers and enduring 8 hours of aerobic and anaerobic torture every day. All I could think about was her. I even changed her picture to my phone screensaver. The coach saw her on the screensaver and asked curiously, "Is this your favorite star? Does she deserve it?" I was in a bad mood, so I did 3 extra hours of aerobic exercise and successfully made myself vomit. My supervisor, who had given up on me at first, gave me a thumbs up. "You are so cruel." I have never seen anyone so cruel to himself. After confirming that I was qualified for the job, the company finally officially let me join their first live broadcast. Planning, losing weight, taking care of your skin, and live streaming are all done simultaneously. Because they want to show the public my transformation from an ugly, old housewife with acne all over her face to a great beauty. So my first live broadcast was a public execution. I saw my bloated, fat-filled belly and arms in the camera. When I saw my face full of bumpy and greasy pimples, I felt angry about my condition for the first time. How could I let myself become like this? In the live broadcast comments, many people didn't believe that I could be reborn. And many people said some very unpleasant things. There were even users who seemed to be acquaintances who commented that a greasy fat woman like me deserved that her husband would have a mistress. I stood up suddenly, snatched the phone from the host's hand, grabbed the comment, enlarged it, and spoke to the camera. "My fellow broadcasters, remember this person and this sentence. 3 months later, I want you to see the changes in me. I want all those who have bullied me and looked down on me to regret what they said today." The live broadcast room was immediately ignited by me. Most of the people watching the live broadcast are like me, who have become bloated and have worse skin after having children. Most of them are mothers who have sacrificed their own lives to become housewives and have been abandoned or despised by their husbands. They could empathize with me so much and were cheering me on. But actually this was a live broadcast accident, because if it wasn't done well, this plan would have been ruined by me from the very beginning. After the live broadcast ended, the supervisor said that their president Wang wanted to see me. I thought I was going to lose this hard-earned job, so I was very depressed. "Why, weren't you awesome just now?" After standing in the president's office for an hour, Mr. Wang finally arrived. "She's a strong woman. I've seen her in magazines. She is 60 years old this year, but she looks only 40. Not only is her makeup exquisite, but there is not a single cheap item on her body. Even the simplest scarf and brooch cost tens of thousands of dollars. It was the first time I was so close to a rich man, and I felt a little nervous. But something in my heart called ambition and desire was touched. I, too, want to be like her. I have a soft-hearted personality. Otherwise, I would not have been tricked by the Zhao family to this extent. But at this moment, I actually spoke up. contrary to my usual behavior. Mr. Wang, I was wrong. Please give me a chance. I really need this job. Unexpectedly, Ms. Wang didn't want to scold me, she wanted to reward me. She handed me a card straight away. There's $1 million in there. If you can do what you promised in the live stream, I'll tell you the password. I accepted Mr. Wang's reward, except that I followed the plan set by the coach and starved myself every day until I was exhausted and vomited. I also took advantage of the short breaks to watch the live broadcasts of popular anchors and study their processes of selling products, what the assistant should do, as well as the brands, characteristics, customer groups, live broadcast users, etc., of cosmetics in the current market. A thorough research was done, with them leading the live broadcast. It was actually difficult for me to make any mistakes in my work. It's just that I haven't been in public for too long and I'm too restrained. This was originally my shortcoming, but I found that this shortcoming is also my advantage. Because of this kind of me, I can make them empathize and have sympathy. In the first few live broadcasts, I almost always dominated the show, and I told them about the consequences of my own love-brained life. She told them about her emotional journey in a failed marriage and that she took this job to fight with her ex-husband for the property because of their 1-month-old daughter. Originally, I just wanted to fill up the live broadcast time, but unexpectedly, after this story, the audience in the live broadcast room started to give me gifts crazily, and one rich lady even gave me 10 carnivals. I was shocked. That's 30,000 in one night. I received nearly 50,000 yuan worth of gifts. No one expected this direction. Even Mr. Wang didn't expect that their carefully planned live broadcast plan would be completely defeated by a wild idea of mine. Mr. Wang took a new look at me and gave me all the proceeds from the gifts. He also encouraged, Xiao Lin, you are getting closer to 1 million. Encouraged by Mr. Wang, I added 10 kilometers of training that night. My legs were shaking while I was lying on the bed, but I was extremely excited inside. When I saw the sudden increase of tens of thousands of dollars in my bank account, I didn't feel tired at all. But suddenly, I missed Bebe so much. Baby, hold on a little longer. Mommy will be back soon. After more than a week of preparation, exercise, maintenance, and skin care became my main tasks. During this period, the advertising department was busy creating momentum, organizing activities, and attracting traffic for its newly launched products. A month later, after I shed 100 pounds of sweat and bit my tongue 1,000 times, I ended up doing crazy exercise and managing my diet abnormally. I lost 20 pounds, I looked smaller, and my belly was obviously gone. The biggest change is my skin, which is obviously more radiant than before, and the acne has also visibly decreased a lot. That night, I participated in the live broadcast. After seeing me, the barrage exploded. Although I haven't become a great beauty yet, the reduced belly fat and the visibly whiter and cleaner skin on my cheeks are too obvious compared to before. Without saying anything, a few words are made clear. It works. Mr. Wang. Our slimming cream and anti-acne facial cleanser are sold out. The sales department brought good news, and Mr. Wang excitedly called the factory to ask them to start working in 3 shifts around the clock to increase the supply of goods, and to increase the price of the products appropriately on the grounds of out of stock. I was originally complaining that she was a profiteer, but I didn't expect that she was the most profiteer among profiteers. She changed her original plan and directly proposed to hire me to be the anchor to endorse their products, and my identity can bring unique discount prices in the live broadcast room. At the same time, I will promote my modified videos on the entire network. After a series of operations, I became famous. Similarly, I didn't continue live streaming after I became famous. I suggested to Mr. Wang that I continue my training as before. It will not be until 2 months later that we have a complete makeover. By then, the users and traffic we have accumulated will explode. Mr. Wang said that I have a good business sense and it was a pity that I was a housewife before. She promised to give me the same share of sales as other anchors, and she would not treat me unfairly as long as I could succeed. Because of what she said, I fainted in the gym countless times in 2 months. I practiced so hard that even my coach and supervisor were scared and told me not to work so hard. If we don't fight now, when will we fight? Finally, 2 months later, I made my first return to live streaming as a contracted anchor. In 90 days, she went from a newly divorced housewife with nothing to a contracted anchor for a cosmetics brand. As soon as the news came out, the popularity of the live broadcast room soared to over 10 million, and not only previous loyal users came. There were also many people who heard the news and came to watch the fun. At one point the live broadcast room had over 90 million viewers. The moms who have been following my video updates are the most moved by my changes. They all praised me crazily in the comments, saying that I had transformed from a middle-aged aunt into a pure school beauty. Looking at myself in the video, having lost weight to 96 kilograms and with smooth and tender skin, I really couldn't recognize myself for a moment. Is this really me? It turns out that people can really change, it can be reborn. I took a deep breath and sincerely told my thoughts to all the users who were admiring me in front of the mobile phone screen. I told them, sisters, don't be willing to sacrifice your youth and beauty for people who don't deserve it. You are beautiful, no less beautiful than anyone else. The perceptive audience asked me if I had experienced anything and why I was in such a bad state before. I told him in detail how I was deceived into marrying Zhao Heng, and how I encountered such a weird and evil mother-in-law. I also told them that my mistress came to my house and announced her pregnancy and took away my house. For a time, the barrage was filled with the anger of mothers, and many people complained that they were also in such a helpless stage, but they dare not divorce. They feel they have no way out after divorce. I know what I am doing. I am a cosmetics anchor. So I didn't advise them to divorce. I told them that the way out is to make themselves better. On the first day, my first live broadcast, I sold goods worth 74 million. Of course, this is not as good as other anchors, but I have no background and no halo. Being able to sell this amount of products is already a miracle in the industry. Mr. Wang led the entire company to cheer for me, and at that time he paid out of his own pocket to reward me with an additional bonus of 3 million, extra reward. Not commission. 3 million. 3 million. This number, which I never dared to imagine in my entire life, actually entered my account. When I saw the string of zeros after the 3 in the text message, I felt like I was dreaming. At the celebration party, Mr. Wang came with a glass of champagne and told me the password of the 1 million card. Actually, I wanted to refuse because she has given me so much and helped me so much. Mr. Wang patted my shoulder with a rare smile. You deserve it, yes. My successful start laid a solid foundation for me with a large number of fans. They could see with their own eyes that my skin was getting better bit by bit, and they also witnessed my life going from misery to resurrection. I became the light in their eyes, or rather, the only ray of hope in their bleak lives. They are all the me I once was, longing to be the me I am now, with every support and purchase they make. In fact, it was not for me, but just a word of comfort to myself. I understand them. Just as they understand me, therefore, the effect of my live broadcast is surprisingly good, and it can be said that I get a lot of response. The sales of each live broadcast will remain stable at more than 50 million and is still steadily increasing. Most importantly, I became famous. My high school homeroom teacher was the first to recognize me and asked me on WeChat if I was selling products through live streaming. I replied yes. Then my WeChat exploded. Many classmates from high school, both known and unknown, familiar and unfamiliar, came to me to reminisce about the past. Even Zhao Heng came. It looks like you're doing well. Yeah, you wouldn't have thought of that. I have saved tens of millions in just half a year after I started working. Isn't that better than your life with an annual salary of 1 million? I didn't want to show off to him, but I couldn't help being angry. He posted the ice pink Porsche that he bought for 2 million some time ago on his Moments. The caption reads, "Work hard and reward yourself with a car." In 30 seconds, I had hundreds of likes on my Moments. Thinking about the occasional likes I received on my posts to WeChat Moments, I feel both disgusted and want to laugh. I will not reply to any of their comments. After posting on WeChat Moments, Zhao Heng sent me another message. Is Bebe okay? Hey, do you still remember that you have a child named Bebe? It has been half a year since we divorced. And he has not called or asked about Bebe's situation, not to mention coming to see Bebe. When Bebe was crying heartbreakingly in the hospital, he just complained that she was disturbing his work. I had no intention of paying attention to him, but an evil thought was brewing in my mind. I thought of Linda, and how she trampled and humiliated me when she came to my house and stood in front of me. So I replied to Zhao Heng and asked him, "How are you? Are you doing well? Did your wife give birth?" This question opened up Zhao Heng's mouth, and he spoke in a voice message. "Don't mention it. I really didn't expect her to be so pretentious. She almost tortured my mother to death by getting pregnant. My mother even had a herniated disc from taking care of her." I couldn't help laughing out loud when I heard this, thinking of how Zhao Shoping endured her humiliation and served Linda. I wanted to laugh, and I'm very curious. Is Linda still so beautiful when she is 8 or 9 months pregnant? I'll go see Mom. I pretended to be affectionate and called Zhao Shoping Mom. Zhao Heng was flattered. "Really, you don't mind what happened before?" I sneered and typed, "It's just a small matter. We are all family. How could I take it to heart?" I really don't know whether to say that Zhao Heng is a pig or a dog. He actually took me home. When Ms. Wang learned that I was going to meet my ex-mother-in-law and her mistress, she specially took out all the brand-name bags and dress suits that she had hidden away in the bottom of her closet for me. She said that she originally planned to wear this when she was planning to go public with her company, and now she is lending it to me. Ms. Wang is an old-fashioned devil. Her styling team gave me a makeover that was almost like a plastic surgery. It makes me look like a British royal princess. I am dignified, intellectual, with a sexy waist and hips. Go ahead. Stompling that bitch to death. I get so excited when I think about the roles being reversed now. I will never forget the way Linda stood in front of me, wearing gorgeous clothes and having a good figure, and looked at me. She didn't even need to say a word to win. And this is not because I am inferior to her, but because I gave all my youth and beauty to a dog. Now, it's her turn. Using the excuse that it was inconvenient to wear high heels, I took Zhao Heng's arm as we got out of the elevator. Of course Zhao Heng didn't reject me. Instead, he rubbed my fair and slender arms and said, "You have really good skin." I almost vomited, but I still forced myself to smile. As soon as the doorbell rang, the door opened from the inside. As if it had been waiting for a long time, the man who opened the door was very fat. So fat that he alone blocked the entire door frame, and his legs were so thick that they were about to burst his pants. Zhao Heng frowned when he saw her. She had a delicate look in her eyes and looked like a greasy pig. When her pig eyes saw me, they widened wide. "What are you doing here? Wow, my God, Linda, this is Linda." I unabashedly marveled at her bloat, which was normal for a pregnant woman. But why is it so gratifying when it happens to her? I looked her up and down in an exaggerated manner and laughed out loud. Linda felt humiliated. She lowered her head in inferiority and tightened her bloated legs, her eyes full of resentment and unwillingness. But he no longer has the capital to compare with me. His former arrogance has now turned into humiliating silence, just like me back then. I smiled coquettishly, pretended to be unable to stand, and took Zhao Heng's arm, watching her face change from astonishment to anger in a domineering manner. "Who isn't a green tea?" I ignored her, carried the ginseng and went straight into the kitchen. I called Zhao Shoping, who was stewing chicken soup, Mom affectionately. Zhao Shoping was frightened. She obviously didn't recognize me. Her eyes were wide open and she looked frightened. Zhao Heng came in and introduced warmly. "Mom, Nan Nan is here to see you, Lin Nan." Zhao Shoping called out tentatively, not daring to be sure. I curled the corners of my lips and stared at her coldly. "Yeah, you don't recognize me." Zhao Shoping avoided my gaze. How could she? Zhao Heng told her. "Nan Nan is now a popular anchor and can earn hundreds of thousands a day. One day, hundreds of thousands." Zhao Shoping's jaw dropped in surprise, but she was hesitant because of my previous excessive behavior and my lukewarm look at the moment. She didn't dare to act intimate or familiar with me, but instead avoided my gaze with a guilty look. Outside the kitchen, Linda yelled in disgust, "Mom, I said I don't want to eat meat. Why are you doing it again?" Zhao Shoping yelled impatiently. "The doctor said you are too thin and too weak, which is not good for the development of the fetus. Do you think I want to serve you delicious food every day? Oh, it turned out that it was Zhao Shouping who fed it. No wonder. The folk remedy I took at the beginning caused me to have acne all over my face. Now he feeds Linda a lot of tonic food, making her look like a pig. Zhao Shouping really hasn't changed at all. Not bad, not bad. I smiled and turned around and said to Linda, Mom is doing this for your own good. Why are you so angry? What do you mean by mom? Who is your mom? Who are you calling mom to? This is my home. Zhao Heng is my husband, and the one cooking inside is my mother-in-law. Who are you to come to my house and call my mother-in-law mom? Before I could say anything, Zhao Heng stood up and pointed at her nose and yelled, Why are you yelling? You only know how to yell at my mom and bully her all day long. What else can you do? Look at Lin Nan, who is still thinking about my mom even after the divorce, and spends tens of thousands of ginseng at once. Have you ever given a penny to my family? Have you ever brought a glass of water to my mom? What right do you have to yell at me? Zhao Heng, husband, how could you speak in her favor? I laughed. Is this the first day you met Zhao Heng? Isn't he such a snob? What I was in his eyes then. You are now, only even worse. Sure enough, Zhao Heng felt that she was being unreasonable and didn't want to talk to her anymore. At this time, I took his arm and suggested, Mom is too tired to cook. Let's go out to eat. I don't know where Linda got her confidence from. She stomped her feet so hard that the building shook. You guys go if you want to go. I'm not going. At this time, Zhao Shouping threw off her apron and came out, pointing at her nose and said, Who said I would take you with me? I won't serve you anymore. Nan Nan, let's go. After learning that we were in a high-end restaurant with an average consumption of over 10,000 yuan per person, Zhao Shouping finally dared to talk to me. What he cared about most was how much I could earn now. And he never asked anything about Bebe. I sneered in my heart and responded indifferently. Zhao Heng stared at me, his eyes changing from contemplation to admiration. Nan Nan, you have changed a lot. I winked at him playfully. Do you regret it? Zhao Heng nodded earnestly. To be honest, since I married Linda, there has not been a day that I haven't regretted it. Then the meal turned into a meeting for him and Zhao Shouping to complain about Linda, on the platform not far away. There was a camera that I had prepared in advance, which captured the faces of the mother and son clearly. Zhao Shouping went from being a lavish spender like Linda to being as thin as a skeleton. She kept complaining until she suspected that she was not serious in private, had affairs with all kinds of men, and that she abused her mother-in-law. She cried until she said that. He kept praising me. You are so good and kind to me. Seeing her crying, I felt like vomiting. Zhao Heng saw his mother crying and his eyes turned red too. Mom, it's my fault for making you suffer with me. Zhao Shouping was quite good at striking while the iron was hot. She took Zhao Heng's hand and held mine together. You two should remarry. I thought it would take a lot of effort to break up Zhao Heng and Linda, but it only took a meal. The mother and son of the Zhao family are really impressive. That night, I edited the video of the mother and son saying bad things about Linda and the video of Zhao Shouping instigating me and Zhao Heng to remarry and sent them to Linda's phone. Then around 12 o'clock, Linda posted a video of herself being beaten on her moments, asking for help. Zhao Heng beat her. Zhao Heng domestic violence. There is only one reason why Zhao Heng abused her, and that is that Linda beat Zhao Shouping. Sure enough, not long after, someone told me that Zhao Shouping was hospitalized and was beaten by her daughter-in-law. I pretended to visit Zhao Shouping, gave her a lot of gifts, and even gave her a bank card with 50,000 yuan in it. Zhao Shouping was a miser. If someone was willing to give her money, she thought that person must be sincere. She believed that I wanted to remarry Zhao Heng and give Bebe a complete family. She whispered to me, I will fight that bitch to the end. I smiled and patted her hands. Mom, you must seek justice for yourself. Zhao Shouping never disappoints, and Linda is no pushover either. The two men simply ignored Zhao Heng's dissuasion and fought fiercely. One sued her for beating her mother-in-law, and the other sued Zhao Heng for domestic violence. The two of them fought one lawsuit after another and were exhausted. My live broadcast was so popular that Mr. Wang's brand also became a hot topic every day. I am no longer a small anchor, now when I broadcast live. I also cooperate with many invited celebrity guests. It was in this working model that I met a person who gave me a new life. He is a well-known chemistry professor and is quite famous in the industry. He has participated in the research and development of many products of Mr. Wang's company. He is in his early 40s, but because of his profession, he maintains himself very well. He looks to be about 35 or 36, with a radiant face, an intellectual and elegant man, and a shy personality. During the live broadcast, he kept smiling shyly, revealing two beautiful dimples. They didn't talk much and just answered whatever I asked. This person actually asked me after the live broadcast, "Can I buy you a meal?" I stared at him blankly. He scratched his head and cheeks, looking very unnatural, with red ears. He added, "It's not work," just like that, when Zhao Heng and his mother were fighting with the mistress. Laro Lu and I had a candlelight dinner in a high-end Western restaurant, drank red wine, and laughed about each other's past. If I say I'm your fan, will you laugh at me? Old Lu is too shy. He never dared to look me in the eye. Under the candlelight, his handsome face is no less handsome than those popular older actors. He is an exquisite man. I looked at him with a smile. "Why should I laugh at you?" He chuckled. "Because most of your fans are female. But, Lin Nan, do you know? You are as strong-willed as Ms. Wang, but you are different from her. Your determination always carries a gentle strength that only women, only mothers, can have. It is this strength that has brought you to this point. It is also this warmth that has allowed me to squander more than 40 years of my life and finally understand what I want." As he spoke, he took out an exquisite sapphire necklace and handed it to me. "Can you be my girlfriend?" Laro Lu and Mr. Wang are old friends. Mr. Wang patted his chest and assured me with his own assets worth hundreds of millions that he is worthy of trust. Then I realized that there is only one empty slot in everyone's gift slot. When you let rotten watermelons occupy this 3-acre land, the gift from God will never arrive at your door. Look. The rotten watermelon is thrown away and the real treasure is revealed. Laro Lu is a treasure. He waited for me for 40 years, and I climbed over mountains and crossed rivers, and finally fell into his arms. On the day when Zhao Heng's domestic violence case went to trial, Laro Lu proposed to me. It was on that day that Bebe started calling Dad. Old Lu happily held her in his arms and spun around for many times, his excitement beyond words. And the smile that Bebe gives in his father's arms is something that I, as a mother, can never give you. But luckily, I found it. I became a great mother and gave her a great father. The greedy mother and son of the Zhao family are still dreaming of remarrying me and taking over my property. After Zhao Xiaoping divorced Linda and Zhao Heng, she came to me to ask for a reward and asked me when I would remarry her son. I ignored her. Zhao Heng also kept calling me, asking me why I was so busy recently and what I was busy with. I took a photo of him at the wedding scene, busy getting married. Only then did Zhao Heng realize that he had been fooled and understood that I had been pretending before. He cursed at me and even hired some internet trolls to attack me in an attempt to end my live streaming career. But I didn't expect that my fans are struggling to know who my scumbag ex-husband is. As soon as Zhao Heng showed up, he suffered severe cyber violence, so serious that his company didn't want him anymore and was determined to fire him even if he had to pay compensation. He cried bitterly but refused to admit his mistake. He posted a long article online saying that I had plotted against him, and then he suffered another round of even more intense online violence. He was beaten to a pulp. Linda also took advantage of the popularity and released videos and photos of herself being abused. As a result, it was discovered by the powerful netizens that the baby in her belly was not Zhao Heng's at all. Laro Lu, I and Bebe sat on the beach in the Maldives. We looked at the turquoise blue beach and talked about my ex-husband and his mistress on our phones. We laughed so hard that our stomachs hurt. In the video, Zhao Xiaoping yelled at the camera like a clown, "You are not allowed to scold my son. You are not allowed to scold my son. He is a top student. He is a top student. He earns millions a year. You low-class people are not worthy of scolding him." Hot comments. Could it be that he was under a spell? Hot comments. Back off. Back off. Back off. Back off.